Profile. A fact-finding mission on matters of development by the Government Information Service.
A very important sector to which the ALBA Alliance has contributed is national security. It's easy to understand why national security is top priority for any country, whether large or small. One fundamental facet of a state's national security is its law enforcement or police force. So reinforcement of Dominica's constabulary in any way supports the right of the island to protect itself. The government and people of Dominica in recent times have received $7.8 million in direct support of national security. Work began in August 2010 on a $3.6 million police station for the southern community of Grand Bay. The previous police station was originally a family accommodation for which government was paying $4,000 in rental fees every month.
For a very long period of time, we've had less than satisfactory facilities for police officers to work from in the South. And we were able to build in excess of a $3 million police station, close to $4 million, which plus quarters, independent quarters for their inspector. This allows us to provide modern facilities for the police. The police are Dominicans, like all of us, and have a very difficult task to perform, and therefore need comfortable accommodation in which to perform the task.
The new Grand Bay police station can comfortably accommodate up to 16 police officers. At an accumulated cost of $2 million, Dominica's national security efforts were further boosted with a donation of vehicles for use by law enforcement.
The question of the mobility of the police, that is to be able to respond to requests for assistance from the people, is always a matter of major concern. And the Venezuelans, in this $8 million grant which they made to us, we were able to purchase some 21 vehicles for the police so that every police station and every police unit were equipped with a vehicle.
The protection of Dominica's aquatic property is also a significant facet of national security, as National Security Minister Honorable Charles Savre reveals.
Another very significant contribution was the funding, about some $3.2345 million by the Venezuelan government, which enabled us to commission the construction of a fast patrol boat in the United States, which has been in service now for about 3 years, or just a little over that, which we call the Dominic. It is the flagship of the Dominica Coast Guard, the fastest and the largest boat in the inventory of the Coast Guard, which gives us a capacity to be at sea for a longer period of time and to support the regional efforts in providing security at sea to protect our borders from those who would wish to bring in drugs and guns and otherwise undertake illegal activities in our waters.
Those costly and pragmatic gifts have been recognized by government and Dominicans alike as tokens with invaluable capabilities in the preservation of national security.
Profile.
Surely no other island knows as well as Dominica the importance of treasuring history and culture. An island with such a rich and interesting past ought to ensure its preservation. This is Cabrit's Fort Shirley, named after Sir Thomas Shirley, who was governor of Dominica for 4 years from 1774. This site was the headquarters and the main defense post of the British Army garrison on the northwest coast of Dominica. The Battle of the Saints was fought here, and over 70 years later, the garrison was abandoned to the whims of nature. For 30 years, a massive restoration process has been ongoing here. 7 years ago, a concerted effort was made to intensify the restoration of this unique site, now called the Cabrit's Heritage and Ecology Center. The centerpiece of this restoration is the complete rehabilitation of the officers' quarters, which has lain in ruins for the past 150 years. Using the original plans, the two-story building is being completely restored to its former glory. Another feature of the project is the complete restoration of the upper and the lower batteries of the fort and the placing of 14 cannons along the walls pointing out across Prince Rupert's Bay. This display has become an impressive outdoor museum of guns. Included in the restoration of the Fort Shirley is a new loop trail which is being developed to lead visitors along a circular route to some of the main buildings and sites within the historic garrison.
So here we are in the upper story of the officers' quarters. This is sort of the main center of the building and the main focus for events such as weddings, dinners, and conferences. Here we have restored the entire area. We had to actually break down what remained of the upper level, the story here, and then recreate it completely. And here we have a number of important events taking place, and we've decorated it with paintings dating from that period of time at the end of the 18th century, paintings and engravings that were done representing scenes in Dominica. This is an area where the officers used to live, the officers who were in charge of the fort, and originally it would have been divided into rooms with a big passage down the back. But what we decided to do is to restore it as an open hall.
The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela must know exactly what heritage means to a people, since it injected $1 million into this $3 million project.
The government of Venezuela has had a great interest in the development of Dominica's cultural heritage. In Venezuela itself, there are many sites like this that are being preserved and maintained, and this pattern has been transferred in their interest in Dominica. And so what we see here is partly as a response of the government of Venezuela towards our plans for the promotion of the heritage and culture of this island.
Parliamentary representative for the Portsmouth constituency and tourism minister, Honorable Ian Douglas, says this project means great things for Portsmouth and the island's tourism industry.
Venezuela's role is major. We have been provided with funding for the completion of the Cabrit's Eco Center from Venezuela, or from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and we're very happy for that because the restoration of the Cabrit's happens to be not only a major tourism initiative for the Portsmouth area, but for Dominica in general. By the time this ecological center is finished, I believe that the Cabrit's would probably be one of the most well-restored 18th century fortifications in the Eastern Caribbean. So we're very happy that we have received the funding from Venezuela for that purpose.
Since the project commenced in 2006, massive improvements have already been made to the Fort Shirley.
The Cabrit's have improved tremendously if one knows what the Cabrit's, and in particular Fort Shirley, used to be like. I would say 10 years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, in the 80s, it laid in ruins, literally. And Dr. Honeychurch have been able to do a brilliant job at the Cabrit's by literally recreating the fort, especially Fort Shirley, in its original way, in the original way that it was built. And so persons can get an insight into the 18th century life of the Cabrit's and of Portsmouth in general. The entire history can be told, and you can literally trace the steps when the tongue was the first tongue of Dominica and what actually happened.
Profile.
For most people, when they think of fuel and oil, images of smoking chimneys, oil spills, and damaged ecosystems are conjured. Dominica's tourism appeal is based heavily on its clean and green attitude, and traditionally, oil companies are not associated with clean and green philosophies.
Never will this government or the Venezuelan government take any action to destroy our environment, or any forest or any tree anywhere in the world, or any river anywhere in the world, and will put the necessary systems in place to ensure that the environment will be protected.
PetroCaribe is principled on environmental sustainability. PetroCaribe's interest in such a concept has a lot to do with their presence on the island, since the world, especially Dominicans, know the importance of preserving as much of Earth's resources and ecology as possible.
The high environmental practices there, they mention international best practices. If you go on the facility, you will see how it was constructed, in taking consideration to the river or any potential for spill. You are saying that the entire place is concreted where the tanks are, so that you don't have the spill going through the soil and eventually into the river. Everybody who works there, from the messenger to the general manager, goes through continuous training on safety and safety related issues. So they take into consideration all the environmental concerns and the possibilities for any disaster.
According to PetroCaribe's third summit report, one of the frameworks of that organization is environmental protection. The report states that PetroCaribe aims to diversify the energy matrix of the countries in accordance with the environmental principles of sustainable development. In this sense, the initiative will help to mitigate poverty and reduce inequalities by creating new jobs and income opportunities. It will also increase the guarantees regarding issues concerning energy security and contribute to a healthier environment. In light of that vision, $8 million was put into preserving the ecosystem of both the Portsmouth and Jimmet coastlines.
Because we know that the ships, the wrecks on the shores of Portsmouth have been an eyesore and a source of really municipal humiliation for us, for persons coming into Portsmouth, and that is something that the electorate of Portsmouth have spoken about and have been wanting from their representatives from as way back as 1970s, the late 70s, when the first ship came ashore. I think because of Hurricane David in 1979. We're talking about 30 plus years. And we're very happy, and that it is because of the friendship that exists between Dominica and Venezuela that we could have received the kind of funding that has allowed us to literally clean up the shoreline and to really get an insight into the potential that exists for the future development of the entire bayfront of Portsmouth.
Minister Douglas is excited about the possibilities now available in his area, with the Indian River being more accessible for development.
The Indian River being one of the premier tourism sites and attractions in Dominica today, not only in Portsmouth but in Dominica, and the Indian River that generates revenue and employment for so many of our youngsters in Portsmouth, all the young guys who row up the Indian River. That boat, and you know we have a thriving yachting industry in Portsmouth, in the Prince Rupert's Bay, in the harbour, and that boat really, not only impeded the enjoyment of the Indian River tour, but it really jeopardized access of the river, really, by blocking the entrance of the river. So we're very happy that the Venezuelans came in and had that ship removed from the entrance of the groin. So we can now move on now to speak about things like the development and the replacement of the Indian River groin, the dredging of the river, and those other pieces of infrastructural development works that will enhance not only the river but the entire bayfront of Portsmouth.
The numerous achievements which are directly attached to the partnership between Venezuela and Dominica can also be attributed to the effectiveness of a sound foreign policy. The Roosevelt-Skerrit administration's Friend to All foreign policy is responsible for the huge strides taken since the Honorable Roosevelt-Skerrit took the reins of leadership in 2004.
the Prime Minister, through his foreign policy initiative, have been able to, despite the many criticisms, because you heard it yourself. The opposition have been talking about Dominica forging military alliances with Venezuela and all that garbage that they have been speaking. And when you look around Dominica, not only in Portsmouth, when you look around Dominica and you see the benefits of the Venezuelan friendship to Dominica, when we literally have been receiving millions in grant funding, money that the taxpayer in Dominica doesn't have to worry about paying back, then you can understand. And the people of Portsmouth in particular were very appreciative of the Venezuelan Dominican friendship.
The government of Venezuela's attempts at unification for the social and economic good of people ought also to be commended. Those efforts are widely seen throughout this island.
And you represent the real integration, the true integration, the integration between people. Because we are talking about our relationship, and the people said, the Venezuela, but what happened with us, human beings? What happened is you, Dominican, with Venezuela, we don't know nothing about you, you don't know nothing about us. But today is very different. And also it's possible thanks ALBA, the new alliance, the Bolivarian alliance for the people of our America. You were talking about the model, the new different in Venezuela. That is the new Venezuela. That is the new social model in my country. That is this student, Hugo Chavez.
El espacio está intrínsecamente unido al tiempo. No hay espacio sin tiempo y no hay tiempo sin espacio.
You represent an idea, a philosophy, and a philosophy that has been shared not only by the government of Venezuela but by the Dominican Labour Party. One that is centered, that is people-centered, one that is grounded in the principles of social justice. Because in the past, a number of Dominicans were left behind. And it's a fact. You cannot get everybody at one time to the next level. When I talk about the next level, I'm not talking about a lower level, a higher level. Either a higher level in your education, a higher level in your housing accommodation, and just name it. You see? So I really hope that this program can continue to emerge, and Dominicans on a larger scale can benefit and appreciate the importance of Petrocarib.
Petrocarib is a company that's here to stay in Dominica. We don't see PDV Carib moving anywhere soon. We know that PDV Carib is going to be in Dominica for 50 years and beyond. Because the kind of investment, $40 million US investment, I don't think anybody's going to put $40 million US investment in a country and leave after 5 years. You put that kind of investment, you're going to be there between 50 to 100 years. So we expect that the Petrocarib and PDV Carib to be in Dominica for a very, very long time, and this agreement will be there for a very, very long time.
So now we are integrating not also the country with energy, but the people instead. So that's good. That means that the energy as an excuse to integrate it has been very good for everybody. So in my personal case, I have received a lot of incomes and inputs just to see another things, see another people, another culture. So I am integrated already to Dominica. So this is the point. So the integration through the energy is a reality also. It's not only the gasoline, it's not only the car, it's not only the electricity. It's more than that. It's a cultural integration, it's an economic integration, it's a political integration also, in order to talk about it the same way.
They've involved themselves in a number of cultural activities, from the sponsoring of a queen contestant to several village feasts. They have built facilities in Maho and in Jimit area and other parts of Dominica. So they've been involved in community work, because that's another part of the mandate of the Petrocarib, is that whatever profit you can make should be passed on to the community, so that people can be more independent and live more independent lives.